Hey YouTube, RC Flyer here. Gonna compare the FMS Kingfisher with the Durafly Tundra. This is the version 3 Tundra. Both are very similar planes with very similar flying characteristics. Both of these planes come with additional floats. The Kingfisher also comes with additional skis, which are cool. Both have really good paint jobs. Some of the differences are the Tundra has reverse. It's got the slats to make it go a lot slower. It also Kingfisher has a longer wingspan. I believe it's 1,400 millimeters versus 1,300. Not a huge difference. Some of the things I like more about the Tundra than the Kingfisher is that it has a lot more room for your battery. And it has this additional spot for your receiver, which is super cool. It also has springs on the landing gear to give it a little bit of a smoother landing, where the landing gear here is completely stiff, but still good. Both have about the same size tires. I do like the nose cone on the Kingfisher versus just the nut showing on the Tundra. And as you can see, everything's packed into a small case here, and the receiver's here. So it's a lot harder to figure out a way to put everything in and have it fit on the Kingfisher. Both also come with an additional canopy that you can have FPV or additional camera, onboard camera, which is super cool. The Kingfisher, and you got the FPV on both, that the antenna can stick out, which is super cool. The FPV or the Kingfisher has a button to release the wings, which I like, except that the Kingfisher also has a you have to detach the servos by hand, whereas in here there's 4 bolts to detach, 2 for each wing, and to detach the wing is a quick connect, which is way easier and way better. Also with the Tundra, it has lights, whereas the Kingfisher doesn't. Well, those are some of the similarities and differences. Let's take them both up and see how they fly. We're gonna take up the Tundra version 3 first. It's gonna show you the flaps. The flaps are awesome. Look at those barn doors, 90 degrees. Another thing that this has that you won't find in the Kingfisher by FMS is this thing has reverse. It has reverse with a flick. Really easy to set up, and we'll take her up and show you how she flies, because I love this plane. It's small, it's light, comes with floats. All right. And we're off. We are up. Another thing, look at the lights. Kingfisher doesn't have lights either. Kingfisher does not have lights. For the same price point, you get a little bit more with this plane. This plane doesn't come with, this plane won't come with skis, but I live in the South, I don't need skis. Roll rate. High rate. And I'm in low rates, let me get the high rates. Hardly any input to go upside down. We'll get her back close. Do a nice slow pass. Gorgeous plane. Gorgeous plane. Good roll rate. That's about probably 50%. There we go. Needed to give her some up elevator. Gotta give her a little bit more. Yeah. Great plane.
Time remaining 3 minutes.
Take her up. Snapper. Oh yeah. Great plane. Do another low pass. Look at this plane. I wish I could have gotten the yellow and silver one, or the red and silver one rather, but they were sold out, so I got the green one. Full throttle pass. Snapper. Let her drop. Oh yeah. Knife edge. Not a good one, but
Time remaining 2 minutes.
snap it. Nice slow snap.
Takeoff flaps.
Put the takeoff flaps out. You can go really slow.
Landing flaps.
Landing flaps, yo, look at how slow you can go.
Takeoff flaps up.
Flaps up. Do a nice loop. God, can't wait to take this on the water this summer at the lake. Oh yeah, got 1 minute, but I'm gonna landing flaps. Do the approach.
Reverse.
Just like that. Now we're gonna take up the Kingfisher. You can see it's got a stoutier, not as forgiving landing gear. Like the other one has springs, and this one, show you the flaps on it.
Landing flaps.
Flaps are pretty good, but they're not 90 degrees.
Takeoff flaps.
But and it does not have reverse or no lights. For the back.
Throttle off.
All right, let's take her up.
Flaps up.
Flaps are up. This plane's wingspan's a little bit bigger. They fly very similar. Knife edge. Very similar flights. Roll rate.
High rate.
Actually, let me do that again. That was in mid rates. Let's do high rates so you guys can know how it goes. So we'll just do a nice low pass. Full speed. And they got about the same. And you can throw this one around as well.
Time remaining 4 minutes.
They both fly very similar to one another.
Takeoff flaps. Flaps up.
Yeah, I gotta get back over. There we go. Need a little right trim. You can go slow with this plane too. Try not to stall her.
Flaps up.
And I didn't even test this on this plane. Stalls. Goes right back over. Good.
Time remaining 3 minutes.
Yeah. Again, this plane is really good as well. Just doesn't have some of the features as the other one. But flies very good. This one has a little bit bigger wingspan. A loop. Oh yeah. And there's the stall, straight down.
Remaining 2 minutes.
They both fly very similar.
Landing flaps.
Landing flaps for a low pass.
Flaps up.
Flaps up. See the vertical? And the canopy popped off, but we're down. All right, guys, my final thoughts. So the new Tundra version 3 by Hobby King, it's got more forgiving landing gear. Not a big fan. I wish I had a nose cone, but that's not a deal breaker. It has a lot more room inside and another hatch to put your receiver. So that's a plus on this plane versus the Kingfisher. It has 90-degree Barndoor landing flaps. It 4 bolts and the wings come off, and it's quick connect. There's no quick connect on the Kingfisher. The good thing with the Kingfisher, there's no bolts. There is tab that you push, but there is no quick connect, so you're gonna have to hand put the servo wires together. And you can see it's such a tight squeeze for the receiver because there's hardly any room in here. So that's a minus. They both fly very similar. You got the more stout but less forgiving landing gear. You got the harder tires. You got the harder tires here, but they're not that hard. These are a little bit more squishy, but it's all on your preference. Price point, they all are about the same price. Oh, and this one comes with lights. The Tundra comes with lights. That's a plus. And reverse. So if you're on the water, that makes for a lot easier control. My opinion, I like the Tundra better. It's a little smaller, a little bit more agile. I can do a little bit more with it. Kingfisher, a little bigger, but it's just by a point. It's like a tenth of a point that I like the Tundra better than the Kingfisher. But it's just the lights and the reverse are a big plus to me. So let me know in the comments what you guys think of these planes.